All right. There's been some reports going on that Star Trek is removing Discovery from continuity. This isn't exactly true. And so I'm going to go over exactly what is happening and kind of what I understand from Paramount's perspective as I've got an insider at the company as to what's going on. They are not pleased with Discovery and Alex Kurtzman's stuff going on. We have a lot on this on Fandom Pulse, which you can, of course, subscribe to this Substack in the description below. And I have a lot here to talk about because it's been a train wreck of Star Trek for the last how many years now? Oh my gosh. We've had 5 seasons of Discovery, 5 seasons of Lower Decks, 3 seasons of Picard, and now 2 of Strange New Worlds. And of course, now we've got this Section 31 movie that literally nobody wants coming out in less than a month. Not very good. And so this is where things are at. It is still in continuity, though. Don't quite listen to some of the reports out there. We tell you exactly the truth, and I'd rather it not be in continuity. Don't get me wrong, but it's unfortunately not the case. So please hit the like and subscribe button. Join us as we talk about all things Star Trek, science fiction, my friends. I'm a science fiction writer myself. My name is John Delarose. You can join my newsletter and sign up. Get 3 free books just for doing so. And I want you on here because I am writing a trilogy right now about space exploration, about going out into the unknown, exploring distant worlds and the like. Which you'll really, really love if you like classic Star Trek. So you are going to enjoy what I've got. I want you on here so you don't miss this new release coming this next year. I've actually written 2 out of the 3 for the trilogy so far. And so I am, going to get the whole trilogy done before it comes out. It's going to be probably April or May, I'm guessing, at this point once I start dropping these books. And yes, I'm hype. This is the most fun I've ever had writing in my entire life. And Star Trek should hire me instead of Alex Kurtzman. That's what it comes down to. I think you'll enjoy it. Grab this newsletter. Just sign up, put in your email, get books for free. I appreciate everybody who reads. You're awesome. So a report came out a few days ago. Star Trek was erasing Star Trek Discovery from canon, which is not true. Lower Decks did imply the show is in an alternate reality. And this is kind of what they're doing at this point. So I mentioned how Kurtzman has the helm of the franchise. Star Trek's been in a dire strait since Enterprise went off the air. And ever since that happened, it feels like they could do nothing right. 2009, they got into the reboot era of things. And, the reason I think they did so is because they looked at what Ronald D. Moore did with Battlestar Galactica. He came from Next Generation, did great on Next Generation, did great on Battlestar Galactica. They rebooted Battlestar Galactica. It was a huge success with fans. If you guys remember those days, the golden era of science fiction on television, really. And with that, they were like, oh, let's do the same thing with Star Trek. The problem is Star Trek doesn't need a reboot. Like, the reason Battlestar Galactica needed a reboot, I'm ranting, I'm sorry, this just drives me crazy, was because, the original really was not that great. I hate to say it. But original Star Trek's great. Star Trek The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and that kind of world that they built, pretty great. You just needed to continue from there. I know that Picard kind of ended with a hint that there would be a Star Trek Legacy coming out with Picard's son and the like. Again, that'd be a great way to do things. I don't like Picard except for that last season, which was okay. But I could tolerate it if you actually did continue the characters and honor their legacy like that. But this is not what they do. They did their full reboot thing, younger, different universe. They tried to change it from science fiction to science fantasy with this, J.J. Abrams made it like Star Wars. I mean, you guys know. It was a disaster. And so that just didn't go very well. I mean, it did at first. People checked it out, and then they all tuned out because it was not what they wanted out of Star Trek. So enter Alex Kurtzman, who takes over. And what's interesting is, Bad Robot was involved in Discovery and its development to begin with. There's weird things on the IMDb page, if you go to the copyright, that Bad Robot was involved at first, and then they removed Bad Robot from the copyright. It's very, very weird. I don't know exactly what's going on over there, but I think there's just competing interests at different divisions in Paramount, CBS, etc. That are all just tug of warring on this, and I think that's a recipe for some bad Star Trek, right? So, of course, Discovery famously made these Klingons that didn't look like Klingons, didn't act like Klingons. It was obnoxious. And trying to redesign Star Trek, it was a soft reboot or whatever. And everybody rejected it. They hated it. And so they tried to move Discovery into the 31st century to try to mitigate that so they didn't have to feel like Star Trek anymore. And it just didn't work out. And so it got even worse once they got to that spot, believe it or not. And so that is they created an unwatchable series. Now that was like their flagship brand. They were doing these short treks off of it. Section 31 is spinning out of this. Starfleet Academy is still spinning out of this, and that's why I'm saying they're not removing it from canon/continuity. Because they're still going forward with this as like their main shows. Strange New Worlds spun out of that. Even as much as Strange New Worlds is kind of its own thing, like it was like season 2 of Star Trek Discovery had that whole Captain Pike starship in it, and like had the same cast. Like, I mean, that's where it all came out of. And so all that, the new Star Trek universe, aside from Lower Decks, like is very much ingrained in this like Kurtzman new Trek. And so it's not removed from continuity. Now, what people are noticing is that in the final episode of Star Trek Star Trek Lower Decks, they like were going through this like rift in like space-time and all that, and the rift was like showing different characters, and one of them was those Klingons that looked like Discovery, shifting out of like one of the other Klingons, and so it implies it's in an alternate universe, like from the main Prime universe, which I guess Lower Decks takes place in. But it's not really clear whether Lower Decks takes place in that or not. I don't know. Because Lower Decks, again, crosses over with Strange New Worlds, right? In another episode. So it's like, so all this like is kind of mired together, but they're implying that like reality changes, continuity changes, etc. And there's a whole multiverse. The whole point of this 5th season, again, was like a whole multiverse storyline, which is so painful and excruciating to do. And they actually set it up to where the end of it, they have a new space station in front of this like multiverse wormhole, like to remind you about Deep Space Nine, that they're launching new expeditions into the multiverse from to like explore different universes. And so even if Discovery is relegated to a quote different universe, like maybe New Trek will be, and 2009 obviously was its own alternate universe, like that they set up. That was actually the one thing they did right by doing that, so that you were not annoyed with the way they were erasing continuity. And they might very well do that. But again, this multiverse is still open, so it is still, quote, canon, and is still, quote, in the universe. So that was kind of a fake out report there. Now, there's a lot of problems with this stuff. Of course, Lower Decks is canceled. Discovery's canceled. They wanted those to go for more seasons, so this is absolutely not doing well for Paramount. I'm hearing that executives are not happy with the direction that Star Trek's gone over there. And I think they do want to kind of relegate Kurtzman Trek into its own like universe, multiverse thing that's like not the quote Prime universe. I don't know what they're going to do going forward. I mean, as of right now, like I said, Section 31 is coming out in less than a month. And despite the fact that it's got like just huge negative reviews, I can't believe like, did they not like focus group this like in advance to be like, hey, do you want a Section 31 that spins out with Michelle Yeoh reprising her Mirror Universe character from Discovery and making it into its own TV movie? Like, I mean, every Star Trek fan would have said, no, I don't want that. I mean, I don't know what they were thinking with this. I mean, it was just like, this is just clear stupidity and incompetence on their part for even making this film. But it's going to come out. It's got massive dislikes on their YouTube already. It's got comments on their trailer that are just saying, we don't want this. This is not Star Trek. It just appears as if they're not listening to fans. They're going to have another failure on their hands. And then Starfleet Academy like directly spins out of Discovery. They're not setting up a Starfleet Academy in the Next Generation era or later, or even the TOS era. They're setting it up in the 31st century, and they're putting Tilly, the fat chick from Discovery, in it. They're putting like one of the Admiral dudes from it in it. So like all these characters are coming back from Discovery. So you know that like even Michael Berman's going to make a little cameo appearance at some point, because that's what they're going to do. They're trying to bring back Robert Picardo for the member berries there, for the holographic Doctor. And at least I guess they're trying to do something kind of Star Trek-y with it, because Discovery like pretty much ignored everything about Star Trek and just did its own thing, which was except for in that season 2 when they brought in Strange New Worlds to try to create a spin-off show. Very, very weird. But these are just 2 more spin-off shows of this exact same thing. They are leaning into this. They are just hoping that if they restart it, and I mentioned this in my article, like they think that if they restart it like with an all-new number 1, it's like the comic book model, that maybe people will come in because it says it's a new series. But I don't think it works that way, because there's no collectible element to streaming TV shows. It doesn't really make sense to me. But yes, it is still in continuity. It may be in an alternate universe, but it is like the universe that they're using going forward at the moment. So it doesn't actually impact anything whatsoever at this point. It does leave the door open to, we could just say this is its own side fake universe that because it doesn't actually match with regular Star Trek. That would be nice if they do that going forward, but we have not heard that Paramount is doing that just yet. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button. And please, guys, sign up for my newsletter if you like great science fiction, great space exploration. Like I said, I'm going to be coming out with a very new trilogy soon. I want you to be here, so you make sure you get that announcement. It is going to be awesome. Having the time of my life. This is the funnest writing I've ever done. And of course, you get 3 free books just for signing up right now. So you can get in on reading my stuff. And I really appreciate everybody who reads. You're amazing, wonderful people. I love the science fiction community. This is just what we'll be doing going forward, is making our own. See you soon.